Oh, hey everybody. I don't know if you saw, but last night we had a great live stream about the special by-election in Crowfoot. That's the rural riding in Alberta where Pierre Poilievre ran. The exact name of the riding is Battle River-Crowfoot, and that district and its antecedents have voted Conservative every single time in the last 90 years, other than I think for 2 years. Like, it really is one of the most conservative places in the world. The incumbent Conservative MP, Damien Carrick is his name, he stepped down so that Pierre Poilievre could run again after losing his own Ottawa area seat in the general election. Now, I know a little something about stepping aside to let the party leader run. I don't know if you know this, but about, 25 years ago or something, I was running in Calgary Southwest, and I stepped aside somewhat reluctantly at first so that Stephen Harper could get a quick entry into Parliament.
Would you do it if he asked you to do so?
Well, I would like to sit down with him in a meeting with our local grassroots executive at Mr. Harper's convenience and have a talk about it.
So Damien Carrick has given up a lot, and it's to the benefit of the party and hopefully the country. Now, of course, it was going to be a slam dunk. I mean, come on, Carrick himself got, I think, 82% in the last election. And I don't know if you know this, but Pierre Poilievre is originally from Alberta. In fact, he helped on my campaign when I ran in Calgary Southwest in that doomed mission. Carrick got about 80%, of course, and Poilievre got almost exactly the same, just over 80%. Last night, our live stream went about 3 hours. Sheila Gunn-Reid and Lise Merle were on it. It was actually a huge turnout for a by-election. I don't know if you know that. 59% of people voted. In a by-election, I actually cannot remember a by-election that had that kind of turnout. By-elections are typically low-energy, low-interest affairs, 20, 30%, but this one was very strong. The media, I think, had something to do with that. They were hyping up. They had this dream. They always have the dream that Alberta is going to suddenly turn to the left. And, it did once. It voted for Rachel Notley's NDP, but that was really a vote split in some special circumstances. The media decided not to back the Mark Carney candidate. They knew he had no choice. And the NDP Hamas candidate, no chance, rather. So they backed if they would make in a lab their perfect candidate, it was this one. Her name was Bonnie Critchley. She was running as an independent, and they all got behind her. It was really weird. I mean, how was it that of the 214 candidates on the ballot, I'll get to that in a minute, that every single media company decided at the same time that Bonnie Critchley was the one to watch? It didn't really seem to be so independent to me after all, was it? It was quite something how she had total media support right away. Here's the CBC story about her. They said she was a real contender. Here's the National Observer, a left-wing newspaper. You can forgive them because they're based in Vancouver. Here she is on the CBC's National News Channel TV. Boy, they must have believed she had a chance if they were putting her on the national TV show. Take a look.
Bonnie Critchley is running as an independent candidate in the upcoming by-election in Battle River-Crowfoot, and she joins me now. Bonnie Critchley, it's good to meet you. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
Good morning. Well, at least it's morning here right now. So, hi, how you doing today?
I'm very good. How are you doing? Tell us why you've decided to run in this by-election and run against the Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, in the seat.
It really boils down to my slogan, which isn't a slogan. It's simply the truth. This is our home. This is our riding. We just had an election, and we spent all that money, and we elected the candidate of our choice, who promptly turned around and said, no, I don't want that mandate I asked you for. And we're spending another $2 million to vote in the angry guy from Ottawa, who doesn't know jack about this area. He may have been born in Calgary, but he's from Ottawa. He hasn't been here. He hasn't lived here. And even if he had stayed in Calgary, this is a very different area than the urban centers he's used to.
So you're mad. You don't like what Damien Carrick has done. You don't like what Pierre Poilievre has done, even though there is a long tradition in Canadian politics of backbenchers giving up their seat for the leader. You don't like this one bit.
Well, yeah, I would agree. Normally, yes. But this unseated leader it's not that he didn't have a seat. It's that he didn't bother to show up for his constituents, so they fired him. And now he just assumes we're going to vote him in when he lived in the same town as his constituents. We're 3,000 kilometers west. You think he's going to show up here ever?
And here she is in the Tyee, which is a left-wing site funded by San Francisco leftists. I refer to this one because it actually went full in on the conspiracy theory that this Bonnie Critchley could be Pierre Poilievre. Let me just look at that headline there. The military vet who could end Poilievre's political career. Well, if she would have won, I mean, that would have ended it. Her fight is daunting, but indie candidate Bonnie Critchley isn't one to back down. On the face of it, Bonnie Critchley is an unlikely giant killer. Yeah, I'd say extremely unlikely in the end. Now, let me stop you there before. I'm not going to read any more. She got less than 10% of the vote. I mean, good for her. Good for her. I mean, good for her for running. And she had a heck of a media management team or PR firm, and we don't know which. She tried to paint Poilievre as the outsider, which I suppose he is. I mean, he's been in Ontario for more than a decade. But she's an outsider, too. She just moved back to the area after being away for a very long time. And I read the Tyee article, and they really tried to make it seem like she was the true conservative, unlike Pierre Poilievre. By saying 4 times that she was a combat veteran in Afghanistan. And she went on a combat mission there. Now, it's true she is in the military, and she was in Afghanistan. And let me say, without any sarcasm or winking or nudging, she absolutely deserves our full respect and thanks for serving in the military. But it is a lie to say she was on a combat deployment. It's just not true. The Tyee story uses that word combat 4 times. Now, she obviously read that story, but she never corrected them. That's a kind of stolen valor. I'm not saying she didn't serve, but she did not serve in combat. That makes her a liar. One of the things she was mad about Poilievre, that like her, he parachuted in the riding. I mean, she said that on TV. Now, of course, that is what most leaders do when they're looking for a seat. Justin Trudeau did not live in Papineau riding when he first ran. He cleared out the local candidate and he ran. Mark Carney did the same thing. He was living in the United Kingdom, and suddenly he's running in the Ottawa area in Nepean. He didn't live there. He brushed aside the local Liberals. But funny enough, Bonnie Critchley did not have that same problem with over 200 fake candidates who managed to get their name on the ballot. Almost none of them who lived in the riding or even set foot there. Crowfoot is a great place, but you don't go there unless you're going there on purpose. You don't pass through Crowfoot. 200 names, fake, 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 the human equivalent of spam. They never visited, let alone lived there. And because of that, of course, a great number of them did not even get a single vote because they couldn't even vote for themselves. They don't live in Crowfoot. They're fake. This whole thing was a scam, a hoax, and it caused voters to have to write in the name of the winner because otherwise, I mean, imagine 214 names on a ballot. Hey, if you had to write the name of your candidate on a ballot, no checking, do you know how to spell Pierre Poilievre? It's a bit of a tricky name, isn't it? Like I say, it's a scam. It was an organized group, many of whom shared the same financial agent. It's a trick. It's an anti-democratic way to suppress voting, but only perpetrated against conservatives. This is the second time they've targeted Pierre Poilievre. They haven't targeted any liberals. Isn't that a head scratcher? But fortunately, Albertans are not easily tricked, and in the end, 80% went for Poilievre, less than 10% went to the giant killer Bonnie Critchley, just 4% for Mark Carney's Liberals. The NDP got 2%. I guess there's not a lot of Hamas supporters in Crowfoot after all. I note that the People's Party of Canada got 0.3%. Now, I like the PPC's policies, and I've always liked Maxime Bernier, but look, if the party is getting 0.3% in Crowfoot, Alberta, I think the moment has passed. So what did we learn from last night? Well, Not a lot, really. Conservatives win in rural Alberta. That's not really news, that's olds. Albertans did not abide the trickery of the 200 fake candidates, most of whom were from out east.
To the great people of the special areas whose ancestors were told a century ago, including Damien's great-grandparents, that they'd never be able to farm on that land. Too tough and too dry. And yet, on the homestead signs that you drive by on the highway, those old names are still there, and their great-great-grandchildren are still making those fields blossom. They never gave up, so I will never give up. To the great... Because as my mother, who's here today, taught me, when you get knocked down, you get up and you keep on going. If you believe in what you're doing, you march forward. And so I say to all of the people, not just in the great region of Battle River-Crowfoot, but right across this country, to anyone who has been knocked down, but has got back up and kept on going, you haven't given up, so I won't give up. Together, we will work together, we will fight together, we will sacrifice together to restore the opportunity that our grandparents left for us so that we can leave it for our grandchildren, so that we can once again restore a country that is strong, self-reliant, and sovereign. That is the country we're in this for. That is why we stay united. That is why we go forward. May God keep our land glorious and free. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think that's what motivated the high turnout, actually. People saw that there was some shenanigans. Elections Canada cannot be trusted to run fair elections. Incredibly, at least one of the fake candidates was a former Elections Canada employee. Isn't that funny? The media cannot be trusted. I mean, I put it to you that if 200 fake candidates were to run against Mark Carney, corrupting the system against a Liberal, you know that the CBC would have contacted every single one of them to out them, to ask them, who are you? Who put you up to this? Who paid for it? Have you ever been out there? Why are you doing this? But they were in league with them. The final takeaway is the saddest, though. Central Canada seems to prefer a billionaire oligarch banker with 3 passports who supports Hamas, who's obsessed with net zero emissions, who hates Donald Trump, and who half a year into his term as Prime Minister has not yet produced a budget. Yeah, I'm afraid we're in trouble as a country. Stay with us for more.